Jamie and Tyrus both, there's something about the activist doesn't know time or place. They believe that you have to be self-actualized even when you're ordering coffee at Starbucks. It's like, I am an activist all the time, including when I'm in mass.
Greg Gutfeld and company completely roasts the awful, boring, woke bishop that tried to use her position to lecture Donald Trump during a sermon. It was big news, and it was utterly ridiculous. Let's see what Greg Gutfeld and company have to say.
Thank you. She used her sermon to treat us like vermin. Our video of the day comes from the National Prayer Service, where Episcopalian Bishop Marianne Buddy, typical priest, used her priestly pulpit to lecture Trump about the evils of his new administration. Roll it, Gladys.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. The people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President.
Oh, they do our dishes.
Yeah, when will liberals learn that argument is not good? Like, yeah, who's gonna clean your toilets, Trump? Who's gonna pick our crops? Stop it with that. Stop it. Marcy Darcy has aged horribly, by the way.
Well, that was infantile. But she kind of looks familiar to me. Was she once a news reporter for WKRP in Cincinnati? She later went on CNN to explain herself.
I was looking at the president because I was speaking directly to him. I was also, frankly, as you do in every sermon, speaking to everyone who was listening through that one-on-one conversation with the president, reminding us all that in the people that are frightened in our country, the two groups of people that I mentioned are our fellow human beings, and that they have been portrayed in all throughout the political campaign in the harshest of lights.
Harshest of lights? I've seen more attractive bishops on a chessboard. What did Trump think of this speech?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service. No. They can do much better.
Though, Trump has changed. I mean, he didn't even call her ugly. So, it's a start. But if she wants to push lefty talking points from the pulpit, just wait a few weeks. Save it for Joe Biden's eulogy. We're all gonna die. Jamie, so trans kids are in danger. I don't think any of them were shot in the head, like the person she is basically admonishing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was confused at a lot of stuff. She was like, I had a one-on-one conversation with him and everybody. And I don't know if it's I don't think he got to talk back, so I don't know how it's.
Yeah.
She said she's Episcopalian?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's, you worship Joe Piscopo. It's, is that what that is?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I know Lutheran is you worship Luther Vandross, but I wasn't sure about it.
If you're enjoying so far, smash that like button. You'll be really helping me out a lot. Let's continue.
I think bishops should only be allowed to move diagonally. If no matter what side of politics you're on, it was boring.
Yeah.
There was one point I saw the Jesus on the cross statue peek at his watch. And I go, this is boring. In all seriousness, she brings up a passage in the Bible where she kind of says God teaches us to be merciful to the stranger. I don't think God was talking about vans with tinted windows.
Yeah.
And stranger danger and all these things. We kind of tried that, right?
Yeah.
With immigration, and there's been some problems with it, and that's why things that have to be done. I just felt like there's a time and a place. for something like that, right? There's a time and a place, two things Biden's never sure of. But I just felt like it was for sure an inappropriate time to do something like that. And if nothing else, kind of confusing and kind of like there's many, many ways to interpret the Bible. And I thought that was a kind of like a narrow way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and especially she's doing it in a place where he can't talk back or anything. He can't defend himself. He can't rebut, which I think she knew that. She used her position of power and her moment right there, where she knew she was going to get an uninterrupted, where she knew she could give an uninterrupted lecture to our presidents and pretty much everyone who voted for our president. What do you guys think about that? Sound off in the comment section below. Let's get back to it.
The thing is, I mean, maybe, you think about all the victims, Kat, of illegal immigrants, or the fact that legal immigrants are against illegal immigration because they waited in line,
Okay, so the way that he handled it, he didn't get into any of that.
Yeah.
I think that he didn't get into any of the content of anything she said. He didn't say, well, actually, how could you say this when so-and-so did this? He just said, you were boring.
Yeah.
Which I think she wanted to have a debate of some kind. I think everybody sat there, and I think she wanted to get a rise out of him. I think that she wanted to kind of go there. And the best way, I think, really to handle somebody who's trying to upset you is to just say that all your insults weren't that exciting.
Yeah.
I like that was I would say that was a masterful move in terms of handling it.
Tyrus. She didn't call him a Nazi. So that's
well. Anytime someone asks me to go to church, I'll just break this little gem out. Like, I'm not putting up with that. I'm good. I'm going to watch the game. Like, this is the problem with activists. She's an activist, and she was pretending to be a person of God. Mm-hmm. To be an activist, to sit there and say that there was gay and lesbian and transgender children afraid. The only reason why they're afraid is because of your rhetoric. You're the ones who say that the boogeyman's coming to get you. You're the ones who say they're going to put you in camps. Trust me, the one thing that Trump can't do is keep a secret. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he had plans, as soon as that inauguration speech would have been way different, and you would have seen all these guys with nets and, just showing up. Anybody with a rainbow, get them. Like, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Your parents used to do this to us. Don't look under the bed. There's a boogeyman. He's going to get you. That's why you have to stay in bed. There's a boogeyman. There's a boogeyman. There's a boogeyman. And it's all well and fine until I finally looked under the bed. And it wasn't a boogeyman. It was her boyfriend. And I beat the hell out of him. But I was never afraid of the boogeyman after that. But that's what they do. She is responsible. The activists are the problem. They're the one trying to convince us, because the idea that lesbians and gays and trans people didn't vote for President Trump, you are a moron if you don't think that's true. Mm-hmm. They did, in big numbers.
Yeah,
Well, somebody call the bishop's mama, because former NWA heavyweight champion Tyrus is completely correct. And it still amazes me how all these lefties, they really haven't learned anything. They're still going on there trying to lecture us and lecture us and lecture us and instill fear into us. Don't they know it's not working anymore? The only ones it's working on are the people who already have Trump derangement syndrome. By the way, they have Trump derangement syndrome thanks to rhetoric like the bishops there. By the way, if you're enjoying this clip, please subscribe to my channel. You'll be helping me out a lot. I put up 2 videos every day, clips like this. Let's continue.
Jamie and Tyrus both, there's something about the activist doesn't know time or place. Mm. They believe that you have to be self-actualized even when you're ordering coffee at Starbucks. It's like, I am an activist all the time, including when I'm in Mass. Which is always that. I think that's the woke virus at its worst.
Yeah, and Trump was set up. I mean, this was not the time nor the place. Trump was set up. The cathedral knew this was going to happen because this bishop has done this many
Shouldn't they have vetted it
times.
better?
They should have been vetted. It should have been. They should have notified the Trump family. They should have notified other people. We had Lorenzo Sewell on, who was, by the way, the black pastor who gave the benediction at the inauguration, who was wonderful. He was in the Mass and he was appalled. He said, this is not the time. It is not the place for you to bring up politics. And when you say it's a debate, you know he does not have any power to debate back. Maybe at some point in time he will, but he doesn't have, that's not the right place to do that authority. It's not proper.
Well, I think tomorrow we're going to have Joe Piscopo on live to talk about if is he upset that his own church has acted so dishonestly?
No, but I mean, absolutely. This was a farce. This was just ridiculous. They talked about that they want to be an activist like at all times. Like, remember when Starbucks had that policy for a while? I think they got rid of it, but remember they had a while where it was like while the BLM stuff was going on and everything, when they wanted their baristas to, like, when they serve coffee, like, have a conversation about, like, racism and stuff like that, like, start a dialogue and everything, and totally, utterly ridiculous. But it's like, that's how wacky everything was. It's like, where even corporations were trying to force their workers to be activists in their own way. So stupid, so dumb. And by the way, how did this woman become a bishop? As far as I know, women aren't allowed to be bishops. So is she even legitimate? Or did she beat up the real bishop, lock him in the closet, put his robe on, and use that time to lecture President Donald Trump? What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed today's clip. And if you did enjoy today's clip, I got a screen that has a bunch of goodies for you to click away and binge.